Boa noite. Ninguém sabe qual a percentagem da população de Macau que se identifica como LGBT+. Uma comunidade que vive escondida, não se sente aceita em casa, pela família, na escola ou pelo governo. É o que mostram os primeiros dois inquéritos da Associação Arco-Íris à comunidade lésbica, gay, bissexual e transexual de Macau, em 2013 e 2016. O terceiro, mais aprofundado, está online desde o final de outubro e termina este domingo. Mesmo sem conhecer ainda os resultados, Anthony Lam, presidente da Arco-Íris, diz que ainda é essa a realidade. Nestes 3 anos, não houve progressos no reconhecimento de direitos fundamentais ou na aceitação pela sociedade. É a TDM Reportagem desta semana da jornalista Rita Tavares-Teles.
I think love is a good thing, and everybody deserves the right to love. Considering that some people still cannot enjoy it, I think there are things that we can do. There are things that I can do. It was actually quite long ago when I was like 12, 13, when I was quite young, really, when I really realized I have an affection to the same sex. But I thought only until like 17, 18, I admitted I'm part of the LGBT community.
Let's go through the questionnaire. So, have you ever concealed your sexual orientation or sexual identity from anyone else? Is there still really a need to do so in Macau right now?
Yes, we still don't see the supportive atmosphere for people to accept themselves. The society needs to progress to show these people that, okay, you're accepted in the society, you're part of society, you can do, you can hold hands, you can kiss, wherever you like, it's totally fine. I'm not saying that they will get punched or beaten by people. It's the matter of they won't be seen by their friends, families, friends of the families. That's the main problem. Many people get very open in terms of showing their affection or emotion as long as they're not in Macau.
Interrelationship is mostly online. That's how you find people. That's where your safe place is building up, is through online finding people.
Yep. There used to be 1 or 2 bars in Macau, openly inclusive of LGBT people. There are no longer physical places, physical locations that people can like meet and get to know people, new friends.
Boycott from friends, or co-workers, or family, discrimination, verbal assault.
There are common things in Macau or even other parts of the world.
3 years ago, what was the answers for this?
When we talk about getting like opposition from family, it's like 20%, 21%, and
pressure also.
Pressure from family, 20%. Pressure from family asking you to get married, it's a 4th option. And so we have 20%, and the other like being discriminated and verbal assault, 10%.
Suicidal thoughts, 6%. How does it make you feel when you hear a person responsibility for Education Bureau saying things like a child cannot self-identify, or you need to, in order to get a diagnosis, use words like this, you need to check a specialist?
It makes the society shiver. The matter is not whether it's politically correct, the matter is whether it's medically correct. It happened to be interesting to us that her comment has driven a lot of different comments in the society.
Made people speak about this.
They start to address the existence of this group of people. Somehow it's good to the society with comments like this. Young children may be confused with their own sexual orientation or gender identity, but it's our system giving them enough support to clarify, to clear all this confusion, or are we pressing them even harder? That's the main question. That's the question we should ask the government, whether our system is really doing enough to provide the knowledge and support to our school kids or to our teenagers in terms of sexual orientation, gender identity, and even anti-bullying at school. I expect more from the government because they have the largest resources. They need to take the lead to educate the society and educate the people. We have actually met with the director of the DSAL, and we made a proposal to him that, okay, we can work together to promote this principle of equality. And if you don't want to work with us, it's totally okay, but we recommend you do something. But after these years, we haven't seen anything from the DSAL. These are things that we think are unequal.
There is no housing for same-sex couples.
Exactly, yeah, they are not considered a nucleus family. Yeah, right, for housing. Education, healthcare. For critical operations, a consent must be signed before the doctor really conduct that operation. I mean, only like family members or stakeholders, legal stakeholders, can sign that consent. Of course, we do want to achieve marriage equality in one step, but if we cannot, then we are willing to take one or two more steps. The case in Taiwan, it's very encouraging because they took only one step from unequal marriage to equal marriage.
You're very, as an association, a very polite, respectful association. You're not too aggressive or vocal. You're not in the street all the time. So being so nice and polite and like in the background trying to make things change, does it really serve you? Or being more open and out there could just shift things quicker?
We are an organization serving these people, and we cannot go too far from these people. Yeah, we need to focus on what they feel comfortable.
And what do they feel comfortable with?
Well, it's a Macau culture. People tend not to stay under the limelight. So that's what we are doing now.
They're not willing to go out and in a parade, or they're not willing to go out when there's a law or something to protest and show their faces for it?
Those included, and many other different scenarios. Yeah, but we understand. So we are turning away from the limelight, and probably I myself will be the one under the limelight, and these people will stay under the desk, protected, and we will get their opinion from like surveys and other channels. For the time being, at least, I don't think it's a must for them to be out, to stay in front, to stand in front of the camera and speak on their behalf, on their own behalf. But of course, we are very happy if they are willing to. But if they don't feel comfortable, we don't want to force them.
How many people are within your association? How many people do you know of that ask for you and you help and they're connected to you?
Probably 1 or 2 dozen.
Only?
Yeah, mainly teenagers. Youngest case would be 15, 16, and up till 20 something.
What was the trigger for you to bring you in?
The domestic violence bill back in 2012. It was Jason Chow who spotted the absence of same-sex couples. They shouldn't be stripped off from protection just because they are not from the mainstream sexual orientation.
This was more specified this time than last survey. 7% have admitted 3 years ago to have been treated violently.
Our association did not receive directly reports of same-sex domestic violence, but we have heard of very severe cases. Domestic violence is one of our main projects, and we'll see what we can do to encourage the IAS to review the law and put back protection for same-sex couples into the law. There were transgender cases, and they have filed an application to the government to change the gender marker on their ID, but currently the law does not allow the government to do so. Well, we have met with the head of DSI, with different government officials, and I thought we got a promise from Secretary Chen, who told us that the government will study the feasibility of amending the law, and this is the one thing we need to chase the government for. Difficult psychologically to the person. At the same time, it's difficult in their daily life. Imagine when they hold the Macau SAR passport and they pass through foreign immigration, and they were asked, why you are male and you look entirely female.
Ideally, you would like for there not to be the male-female categorization?
Well, let me put it this way. There are places already doing this by adding a third gender in their registration. So I would say the gender binary may not be a must in the future. Well, for myself, I tend to use more neutral language.
You can do that in Chinese. It's easy to do that in Chinese.
In Cantonese it is, but in written Chinese it's difficult. We do it's somewhat like Portuguese. It's always connected to
girl or boy character.
Yeah, either gender.
Actually, I think this is where most people kind of get confused. It's when you start mixing, first of all, gender identity and sexual orientations. For some people, the boundary is not very clear. Yeah. And then there's so many options. Traditionally, like you had lesbian, gays, bisexuals, transsexuals, and now you have a plus to include all these other categories. You do understand that it's a bit confusing for people. Are you confused? Even you, are you confused?
I would say even 5 years into, 5 to almost 6 years into the LGBT movement in Macau, I'm still sometimes very confused with all these terms. And actually the list can go to, it's similar to the number pi, it's infinite.
Are we going too far?
No, not really. We're going very deep into the study, into the issue.
Do you have any idea, would you guess, what's the percentage of the population that is LGBT?
Can't guess, but we're actually trying to sort out with this questionnaire.
What are the factors shaping people's sexual orientation? Upbringing and environment. Do you think upbringing and environment can shape someone into being LGBT?
Our association don't think that's possible. A more open society, having that atmosphere to make people feel comfortable to be themselves.
Is it a choice?
Some people do think it's a choice, but I myself don't think it can be a choice.
Overall, how would you rate the severity of discrimination against LGBT plus in Macau? For 1 to 10, no discrimination 1, very severe discrimination 10. How would you?
6, 7.
Is like a hidden discrimination, or is very open discrimination?
It's mixed.
So basically gay means gay, happy. So the question would be, how gay are you in Macau being gay? Very unhappy or very happy, 1 to 10?
Yeah.
Can you be a happy gay here?
I don't know. Well, for me it is possible because I've seen cases of being happy gay in Macau. Yeah, for me it's possible, but I can't speak on behalf of the large number of LGBT people in Macau.
Do you think they are?
They have the right to be happy or not happy. Yeah, and if they are not happy, what we can do to help them?
What can you do to help them?
At least we need to know why they're not happy, and if they're not happy with, I don't know, with the society, with not being accepted, we need to work on building an accepting society. There are times that there were a period in my life that I questioned myself about my sexual orientation, but yeah, again, I've moved on.
Have you ever wished not to be LGBT? Is this something that ever occurred to you?
No. My sexual orientation has somehow widened my horizons. Yeah, look further and wider and deeper in some issues or questions.
So your parents know?
I don't know whether I haven't talked about that with them.
You're the president of the association, so
Yeah.
you took the decision to go very public with it. And
Well, they know I'm the head of the association, but I'm not sure whether they have drawn a connection between my sexual orientation with my work at the association.
this is also an issue, I think, that sometimes, even when there's a good relationship, families don't speak, they don't talk to each other on a deeper level.
It's somewhat a very Asian thing. I'm not talking only about controversial issues, but like general daily chit-chatting. It's not a very common habit in the Asian world. It's most important to these parents, I guess, to love their children and let them have a happy life.
And if they're gay or if they're LGBT, if they feel that they may be, what should they do?
Well, of course they can contact us, Rainbow of Macau. We're always here to help, and if they need professional help, they can always contact the IAS.
I think it's needed mediation for a parent to deal with this with its child.
I wouldn't say it's mediation. It's kind of showing the other face of the coin to parents. They may get stuck.
It's almost like you're saying, go ask help, someone that will tell you that your son or daughter has no problem.
Yeah, somehow that's what I mean, and also professional can provide emotional support to them, to parents. Yeah, sometimes it can be quite disturbing for parents to find they have LGBT kids, and it causes emotional disturbance to them. And these professionals are there to provide emotional support to them, not only to tell them their children are not wrong, but also to provide emotional support to them to clarify their disturbance, to clear their disturbance, and to help them build a better life. Love is important.
Voltaremos para a semana com mais uma TDM Reportagem. Até lá, muito boa noite.